Yo guys, what's going on? Robert Warshack here, and Hearthstone is basically giving out tier 1, tier 2 decks for free with the ladder ready decks. If you log into Hearthstone and hit play, it'll be on your first screen here, and it ends and start at 7 days, and obviously there's 6 days and 22 hours left. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at these decks and see which one is right for you. We actually have a ton of value here, and a lot of these decks, if not all of them, are very competitive at legend. You should be able to hit legend with any of these decks, provided as they are very good. However, if you already have all of the cards, or you have most of these cards, you can still claim it and collect stuff you don't have. So if you're just seeking like basically your best value, look for which legendaries you don't have and then just pick the one like, you know, that you're missing the most cards out of, right? But if you're actually looking for a deck to play because your collection is low, or you're returning or an intermediate player, like I said, let's take a look. We have the all blood control starship death knight here. This is one of my favorite control decks. I love this deck so much. It has the leeches in it. You've got double suffocate for some AoE in the mid game, which kills 2 minions. You have the orbital moon, which you can use on your starship pieces like the guiding figure or your Soulbound Spire. You run Poison Breath with the Wild Pyromancer, which gives you great AoE. You run Double Yor, you run Corpse Explosion. This all around is a fantastic control deck. It's one of the more fun ones to play, in my opinion. You get Nomella, you get Bob, you get Ceaseless Expanse, you get Zilliax. Most of these cards are very popular and found in a lot of decks. So if you like control decks and you like Death Knight, this is a fantastic choice for you. Moving down to the all spell Quest Mage. This deck is going to be absolutely pure RNG. Some games you're going to win because you're just better, and some games you're just going to lose because you got unlucky, and that's just how Mage goes. Out of all of the decks that we're covering, this is probably the most swingy deck, the most RNG deck, and probably the least competitive, just off of cards like it relies on Yogg in the Box, which is cast 5 random spells. If your deck has no minions, the spells cost that are 5 or more. So again, it could just cast Twisting Nether 5 times, or it could fill up your board and start swinging giant spells at your opponent, or it could Quiznos and Wheel of Death yourself. All of these things could happen, and every game is going to be like a, well, let's see what goes on. So this is a really fun deck. Every game is going to be absolutely different, but it is probably the least competitive out of all of them. Moving down to this Murloc Paladin deck, this is for basically the stupidest, lowest IQ. If you don't care about getting better at Hearthstone and you just simply want to click on the green cards and play it, this is absolutely a perfect deck for you. This is a very popular deck at the worst ranks in the game because it is the easiest deck to play, and it basically crushes any other deck that's trying to have fun that may not be that competitive. However, this deck completely falls off around the legend rank because people play against it, they know how to beat it, and the players playing it obviously can't, you know, they didn't figure out how to do much else besides play the Murlocs every turn. So if you are a brand new player and have never played a card game before, this is a perfect deck for you. I promise you're going to have more than enough fun with it. If you're a player who has any sort of IQ above lukewarm, this is probably not the deck for you. I promise you can do better with other decks. Moving down onto Quest Warlock. This is one of the best, if not the best deck in the game, besides Freyak Rogue, which is not in the list of decks to pick from. This is a little bit different than the very popular list with stuff like Clumsy Steward and the Sizzling Cinder. However, the core of the deck is really just getting this quest out and then going in and playing a bunch of Corpsicles and killing your opponent with you. Basically relentless never-ending deck, because you play Mass Production, which is draw 2 cards, deal 3 damage to your hero, and then you shuffle 2 copies of this in your deck. Because you do that, you technically never run out of cards. So when you sacrifice cards for your quest reward, you have infinite cards, and then there's cards in your quest reward that heal you. However, this is not the most optimized list of the Quest Warlock, so you might have to add a couple cards in here, like the location and the 4/4 that allows you to play that location with the Taurus mechanic. But Quest Warlock, very good and very competitive deck. I believe it was one of the most brought decks to this past tournament, and I don't really see Quest Warlock going anywhere soon unless it gets nerfed. But if you've played any Hearthstone, you know it's very popular. Moving down to basically the second easiest deck to play. So instead of playing Murlocs, we're just going to go ahead and play Beasts every turn. So this is like a token Beast deck that revolves around, like, if every minion in your deck shares a minion type, give your other minions +2/+2. Obviously, there's only Beasts in the deck. We run stuff like the Supreme Dynamancy, give +2/+2 to all Beasts in your hand, deck, and battlefield. It runs a lot of token cards like the RC Rampage, which fills up your board with 1/1s or 2/2s or 3/3 beasts, depending on how many other beasts you have. So it's just a very aggressive, get on the board fast, play beasts, buff beasts, win game. This probably slightly more difficult than Murloc Paladin, in the same way that, like, coloring with 1 cran is slightly easier than coloring with 2 crans, kind of thing. So if you like Hunter, you like beating people fast, and you don't like thinking, this is a fantastic deck for you, and it'll do you right. So moving down to the Protoss Priest, which is another extremely powerful deck, and curves out, in my opinion, while it is very annoying to play against, and I hate the deck, it is fun. I can't disregard that. Playing Mothership, which is basically a 12 mana 10/10, taunt, battle cry, and death rattle. Get 2 random Protoss minions. This could be from any class, so you can get yourself some rogues, you can get yourself some mage Protoss cards. There's a ton of really Druid, the carrier. So I know it says 12 mana, but you have cards in this deck that allow you to discount your Protoss cards with stuff like the Sentry. Your Protoss minions cost 1 less this game. So you play this card dies, and then you resurrect this card with Resuscitate. And this is resurrect a 1, 2, and 3 cost minion. Then you give them Reborn, so it dies a bunch of times over and over again. You discount, I've seen Motherships cost 0 mana. Most of the time they cost like 2 to 4. And then you just could basically go ham. If that isn't enough, you run stuff like the Vol'jin, which allows you to play bird watching and some of the other hunter stuff to be able to pull cards out of your deck that you need, like your 2/2s and like your Motherships. But it also allows you to change the stats of minions because you run stuff like the Chrono Boost, which the minions have charge. You can then swap the stats of something big with your charge minion, and then you can go ahead and win that game. So tons of stuff you could do with this deck. It is really fun, and if you are, I would say, even a beginner to intermediate player who hasn't played in a while, I honestly think this is probably a great pick for you, because every game is going to be slightly different because of the Mothership. You have kind of like a clear vision of what you're trying to do, play Protoss cards, discount them, and then from there you get to win with the fun Mothership. So if I were to break this down, your DK deck is going to be super control. If you like control decks, you're going to love, if you like control warrior and stuff like that, this is the deck for you. If you love heavily super RNG, every game's mega different, but you live and breathe by random cards, Mage is for you. Absolutely not, I guess, but this Quest Warlock, it's super repetitive, and it's like, not really the great refined version. Hunter is go face, me go smart, play beast, win, and then Protoss Priest, again, is more of a mid-range, has a ton of value tools, and pretty fun. So with that, hopefully this allows you to make a good, educated decision on which deck is best for you. And like I said, if you already have all of these cards and you don't really need any of these decks, simply look at which legendaries you have and then pick the deck that you are lacking those legendaries in, so you can get some free dust or those legendaries that you don't have. So with that, leave any comments or questions if you have them below. Love to read you guys' stuff on this. Free decks are good. Hearthstone did it right. They very few W's, so this is a Hearthstone W, giving everybody just a free, really good deck. So with that, I'm Robert Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.